I remember making Christmas decorations one year, and on the Christmas decoration it said, "I wish my mum would stop drinking."
My dad was so kind and loving and sensitive, but when he was drunk, he wasn't very nice.
The environment in those initial years was chaotic, you know. I remember feeling scared of my dad. I remember feeling very responsible for my mum.
She became very aggressive with her drinking, and ultimately blamed me for pretty much everything. I felt very, undeserved and unwanted. So to then feel like that in my own home, I felt like no one else would really want me as well.
It was very confusing because you've got this sober parent who's loving and amazing and you can talk to about anything, and then when they've had a drink, it's not that. You love that person unconditionally, but then you hate them. So it's constant conflict of emotions.
From feeling not good enough, for feeling unworthy, from feeling less than and not part of anything, from feeling very lonely. All of those things lasted right into my adulthood.
It's such a taboo subject. There's such a heavy stigma attached to it.
You feel so isolated for so many years when you're in the situation. There's so many people that are scared to talk about it, especially if the parent is still alive. They don't want to put shame on the family, or they don't want to talk about it because they feel like they're in the wrong, or they feel like they're doing something bad.
You learn not to talk, you learn not to trust, you learn not to feel. And that stays with you, and it's deep rooted, You spend a lot of your life believing that you're the only one. That was certainly my case until I walked into Nacoa. I genuinely believed that nobody felt the ways that I felt.
Nacoa for me is community and connecting with people who, have similar experiences to myself. When you finally meet other people that have been through it and understand what you've lived through, it's so refreshing.
Nacoa's helpline is an absolute lifeline for a lot of people.
We have children who call the helpline from 6 all the way up to 100 years of age, and they can reach and speak to people who are like-minded and understand their situation.
When I used to go there, in the old offices where there was a basket with a load of stories in there, and sometimes it was a comfort for the children to just have somebody read them a story at night, because no other adults were doing that for them. There was many young people that would contact Nacoa because they had nowhere else to contact. And so they wouldn't necessarily just be contacting to talk about all the terrible things that they were experiencing. Some of them would contact to talk about their positive exam results that they had, because they didn't have anybody else to talk to about that.
If you're not quite ready to talk to somebody, then there's lots of blogs, there's lots of lived experiences that you can look through. And you can meet other people in person when you're ready and make those connections and have those conversations and interact with people that way.
To come together with that community of other children of alcoholics who really understand your emotions and how you're feeling is absolutely vital to feel part of something.
I've spent so much of my life feeling unheard and suppressed, and to finally speak to other people who understand what we've been through, it's almost like you're speaking to people in a different language and they get it. It's no different to an illness induced by smoking. It's no different to eating the wrong foods or lack of exercise. I think we need to come at it with a place of more compassion for everyone involved, not just the person with addiction, but the people that are struggling to love that person through active addiction.
Now I speak to people, adults, and I say, I'm part of a charity, Nacoa, and they go, oh, my parent was an alcoholic, and I go, call them, you're still affected by this, it still will affect you.
I've gone from being somebody that would have swapped places with anybody on the planet to being somebody who honestly wouldn't want to swap where I am with anybody today. That doesn't happen without Nacoa.